Good morning once again. Let's get started. So my name is Vincent Wong, and I will be your teacher for the first 6 weeks of the course. The way it goes in the summer is you will get two teachers. One will teach the first half, and then the other will teach the second half. So I'll talk more about that in a second. Now, today's orientation, the purpose is basically to introduce myself to you and to let you know how the course is going to be conducted, where you can find information about the course, where do you get your learning materials, as well as we'll talk about evaluations. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to stop me at any time. You can unmute yourself and ask the question if you feel comfortable, or if you prefer to type the question in the chat box, that is going to be okay as well. So I assume you guys have got the email from me, and that's why you're here. Email is the primary way of communication in this course. So please be sure to check your email regularly. Of course, I'll be sending information to your eCentennial account, right? So check that regularly, or you can forward that to your personal email address as well, so you do not miss anything. In addition to emails, usually I would post the announcement on eCentennial as well. So there are two ways for you to check those information. Okay, so like I said, my name is Vincent. Vincent Wong. You can just call me Vincent, is fine. If you don't feel comfortable calling me by the first name, you can call me Mr. Wong. And when you email me, and you can email me at vwong@centennialcollege.ca. Okay. You can email me about anything, really. I check my email quite frequently, and I usually get back to you within a day. Okay, if you have not hear back from me after more than a day, that means I did not get your email. Sometimes, maybe the email didn't get sent, or maybe you sent it to the wrong person. So just resend the email. I always reply students. Okay, so if I don't reply you for more than one day, that means I did not get it. Just resend the email. When you send email to me, it's important to specify which class you're in, because I do teach several classes. And if you don't tell me what class you're in, and you ask me, for example, when is the quiz going to be? I do not have the right answer for you if I don't know which class you're from, right? So just to be clear, the class you're in is GS182, and you are section 201. Okay, so please include those information in your email, and also include your name, of course, as well as your student numbers. Okay, sometimes students have preferred names that is different than the one that shows up in the system, and I'm not able to find you in the system. Sometimes if you give me a different name, so always include your student number to make things quicker, basically. Okay. So a little bit about myself. I've been teaching at Centennial for 12 years now, and I mostly teach biology, as well as a second semester course called the Anatomy and Physiology. You probably will be taking that in September. I used to teach a little bit of math and chemistry as well, and then I also do a little bit of general education. I co-designed this course, and it's a pretty general course. It's an introductory course for biology. So if you have taken high school biology, for example, you will find the material to be a little bit similar to what you have learned. And if you have not taken biology before, or if you have been out of school for some time, that's okay as well. It's an introductory course, so I will be teaching it under the assumption that you don't know anything about bio. Okay, so we'll start at a very basic level. and we'll build upon that as we move along the course. So everything you need for the course is available on the eCentennial site. Okay, so you might know by now that there are two major platforms that we use here at Centennial College. There is the eCentennial, which is where you will find all your learning materials for the course. Okay, and then there is My Centennial, which is where you will find your timetable. For example, you will find your like payment receipts and that kind of stuff. This is more like administrative end of stuff, and this is where your learning platform is going to be. Okay, so if you have not already had a chance, I strongly recommend that you go and look at this. And so if you log on to the homepage, you will see that there is a news item here. And it's important to check here regularly. Usually I'll post a news announcement at the beginning of the week that have a to-do list that basically tells you what you are supposed to do for that particular week. I haven't done that yet this week because I didn't want to confuse you, but I will do that right away after our tutorial, after our orientation today. And usually I will also post a second one towards the end of the week, a debrief, okay? That summarizes the stuff that we have done and where you can find, the notes and things like that. So check here regularly. So you can see here, getting started. This is basically the email I sent you. There is a Zoom link. This is the same link that we'll be using every week, okay? For the duration that I'm teaching. Okay, so for the first 6 weeks, every time we meet, you just click on this same Zoom link. Okay, you don't have to email me to ask me for a different link. It's the same one. So save it in a good place. There's textbook information. You don't have to purchase the textbook. We will just be using online material. More on that later. And if you have not had a chance to copy down my email, here it is. Okay, you can always find it on the course homepage right here. I think it's also available on the first slide of all my lecture notes, all the PowerPoints. All right. Now here are some quick buttons to help you navigate the shell. Okay, if you need to just find something quick, weekly schedule, for example, the textbook, you can click on these buttons and it will take you directly to it. The proper way of navigating the homepage here is to use the buttons here at the top. Okay, so these top buttons are available for all your courses, okay, your chemistry, your math, and that's the proper way of finding things. So for this week, for any week really, you can click on the content, and you will see that over here, there's a folder called lecture 1 to 5. So this is the part that I'll be teaching you, okay? 6 to 10 will be taught by Professor Moran, and he will come and introduce himself at a later time in the course. And so within this folder, you can see there's lecture 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, all of them. And within each of the lecture folders, you will see the lecture recordings, okay? So the course is run in a way that, on your timetable, right? There is a slot for Tuesday as well as Thursday, right? It says from 8:30 to 10:20, right? So the way that it's run, the course, is that on the Tuesday portion, you will be doing what we call asynchronous learning. Okay, so that's where you will be watching the recordings yourself. You do not have to come and meet with me on Tuesday. Today is just special because it's orientation. I'm just showing you where to find things, but normally we do not meet on Tuesday. So you on the Tuesday, you will go and click on these lecture recordings. You can download the PowerPoint slides, and then you can watch the lecture recordings. So if I click on the lecture recordings here, it will take you to basically like a YouTube upload. And if you click play, then it's just me talking through the lecture. Okay, so you will do that on your own time. You don't necessarily have to do it on the Tuesdays, right? You can do it anytime before you come for the tutorial on Thursday. Okay, does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions so far about how this is gonna go? Okay, now back to the content in a second. Let's go back to the home page for now. Okay, now at the home page again, if you scroll down, you can see there is a weekly schedule, right? So you want to download a copy of that. So click on the weekly schedule when you're there, and then it will open up a window. And there is the schedule. It's pretty small here. I'll just open my local copy. It's a little bit bigger. So here you can see week 1 to 6, I will be a teacher. And on Tuesdays and Thursday, we have class. Okay, so this week, Tuesday is the orientation. And then Thursday is the synchronous tutorial. So synchronous means you're going to have to come and we will meet like this, okay, over Zoom in a live session. Starting next week, though, right, on the Tuesday, you do not have to come. If it's purple, if it says asynchronous, then you just do your own stuff, okay? You just watch the lecture recording, you work on the study guide, and then on the Thursday, we will come together and we will take up questions from the study guide. We will do practice questions for the test. And we will, answer any questions that you might have about what you've learned. Okay, so that's going to be happening for the first, 6 weeks, with the exception of the 6th week where it is going to be a test number 1. So the test will take place on the Thursday, and so we will have a review on the Monday, on the Tuesday instead. Okay, so look at this schedule to see when you need to come and when you're going to be doing things on your own. Okay, I'll be reminding you as well, okay, when there's a switch. Now, when Moran takes over, he's your new teacher for the second half, he will be having his own style and his own method of teaching, okay? Maybe he will do both of them synchronously. I'm not sure at this point, but when he takes over, he will let you know, okay? So everything I'm telling you right now, in terms of the delivery, is for my portion of the course only. Okay, so there is a total of a 14-week in the semester. We have a break in the middle of the semester. We call that the engagement week. You basically don't have class that week, and you just take a little break. And for this course, you can see it's broken down into the first half and the second half. And in the first half, we have 2 quizzes. Okay, quiz 1 and quiz 2. Each of them is worth 10%. Okay, I'll talk about the format of the tests and quizzes in a bit. So quiz 1 will be lecture 1 and 2 only. Quiz 2 will be lecture 3 and 4 only. And then you will have a test. The test will cover the first half of the course, which is lecture 1 to 5. We will actually not be covering the lab in this case, because I want you to take the test before I leave. Usually we do the lab before the test, but my summer vacation starts on the 7th week, so we won't be able to fit that in. So then we will do the test before the lab this semester. Okay, and then the lab will be 10% on its own, but it will not be included on the first test. The lab is done virtually. You do not have to come to campus for that. And for the second half, okay, again, he will let you know how the classes are going to be run, but it's the same format in terms of evaluations. You're going to have 2 quizzes, you're going to have a lab, and you're going to have a test. Okay, the course is not going to be cumulative. The final test only includes the second half. Okay, so that way you won't have a test that has material that are taught by 2 different teachers. Okay, so test 1, everything I teach. Test 2, everything Moran is going to be teaching you. So that's the evaluation aspect. Does anybody have any question? Everything is going to be recorded in the tutorial. Even the orientation we're doing right now will be recorded. So if you missed anything, you can check out the recordings later on. Okay, so what do you expect on the evaluations? the evaluations are going to have 3 types of questions. Okay. So for quizzes and tests, there will be regular multiple choice questions. Okay, so these multiple choice questions are the ones that are standard. Okay, they are usually knowledge based, pretty straightforward, factual things. For example, which of the following is considered as macromolecules? And then I would list 5 things, and then you would choose the correct answer. Okay, so basic format of multiple choice that you are familiar with. So most of the test will consist of those questions. And then there will be questions that are called multi-select. Okay, the multi-select questions have multiple correct answers, right? So there will be like 4 choices, right? A, B, C, D, or something. And then maybe 2 of them are correct, maybe 3 of them are correct, maybe all of them are correct. You will have to choose all the correct answers in order to get the full marks. Okay, so some of the questions will be multi-select. And then there will be application questions. Okay, so the application questions are the thinking inquiry type of questions. They will require you to apply the knowledge that you've learned in the lecture in a scenario that seems to be unfamiliar. Okay, like you might not have seen this concept presented explicitly in the lecture. So you have to use what you've learned to do these questions. So these are going to be the hardest type of question, generally speaking, but you won't have a lot of those. Okay, so all of these are going to be done online. And the test, how is it going to be done? Well, basically, I will give you a link, and you will click on the link on the day of the evaluation of the quiz or test, and you will have depends if it's a quiz, you will have maybe 40 minutes to do it, and for test you will have like maybe 70 minutes to do it. I'll of course give you all these information as we get closer to the evaluations. But in terms of when can you do these evaluations? Usually the evaluations will be available from 6 a.m. all the way to 11:59 p.m. of that day. Okay, so if I say, if you take a look at the calendar here, right, it says the quiz number 1 is going to be held on May 24th, Tuesday. So on the Tuesday, right, the quiz will be available from 6 a.m. all the way to 11:59 p.m. You can do it anytime during this window, okay? But once you start the quiz or test, you have to finish it, okay? You cannot start the quiz at 7 a.m. and then close the browser and come back to it later. Just because you close the browser, the timer does not stop. It will keep on counting. So when it's 40 minutes is up, then it's done, right? You won't be able to access it anymore. All right, so make sure when you start the quiz, you are in a place where you won't be interrupted. And I try to keep the window as wide as possible. I know some of you have to go to work, perhaps, and you might have to take your kids to school in the morning, right? So hopefully you can fit just an hour into this time frame to do the quiz. Okay. Now, having said that, things happen. You might lost internet connections or something like that. Don't freak out. Just send me an email and we'll work something out. Okay. This is an honest system, of course. So if every time there's a quiz you email me and say there's an internet outage, then I get a little bit suspicious. But if it's just happened once, then you can let me know and we'll work something out. It's not a big deal. Okay. Any question about the evaluations? Thank you, Raymond. Another thing is, now this is obviously an online course, and so you will have access to your notes and perhaps the internet during the evaluation. Now, for my course, it's okay. I understand there's no way for me to to tell you, don't use your notes. There is no way for me to enforce it or police that, right? So the test questions are designed in a way that assumes you have access to all your notes. So it's essentially like an open book evaluations, right? However, like I said, since it's designed with the in mind that you have access to your notes and the internet, then in some ways you have an advantage, right? Okay, so that's why the constraint comes in the form of time. Okay, so you only have again 40 minutes perhaps for the quiz. I don't exactly remember. I have to double check. I think it's 40 minutes for the quiz. And I will let you know, closer to the test day. So you won't have time to, Google every question that you see. You won't have time to flip through your notes to find the answers, right? So you still have to study. What I usually recommend students to do is have like a help sheet, like a cheat sheet or whatever you want to call it, that summarize things, key things that you find difficult to memorize, for example. You want to have a quick reference sheet, but nothing beyond that. I wouldn't suggest, printing out all the PowerPoints and then flipping through the material, during the quiz, because you simply will not have time to do that. Okay. William asked, would you check for attendance during tutorial? I'm not checking for attendance. This is post-secondary. You guys are responsible for your own learning. It would be great if you come for the tutorial, because again, we would take up a lot of the study guide. We would do the practice test questions, but there's no penalty for not attending the tutorials. Okay, and again, all the tutorials will be recorded and made available if you missed it. I will tell you though, based on previous experiences, this online thing has been going on for 2 years now, right? So people who there are a lot of people who don't watch the recordings, they don't come to tutorials, and they just kind of wing the test essentially, and do it cold turkey. They don't tend to do very well. Okay, but if you come and do the work, you should be okay. But again, right, I'm not gonna be here to nag you. You make your own decision. Is it Tuesday fully online and Thursday in person? No. Okay. So just to clarify, right? When I say in person, I don't mean you go to the campus. Okay. Nobody's going to campus for this course. The whole course is run virtually. Okay. When I say asynchronous and synchronous, it means that whether or not we have a live session over Zoom. Okay. So on Tuesdays, you do your own study. Okay. You watch the recordings. On Thursday, you meet with me like this. Okay. So we do not go to the campus for this course. I hope that clarifies it, Haren. Okay. What else do I have to talk about? Yes, let's go back to the lecture content here. So if you again go to content, and we'll pick lecture 1 here. I talk about the lecture recordings already, right? Of course, you need your PowerPoint slide as well, right? So download the slide and then you watch the recordings. Recordings usually are like 3 to 4 parts. Each of them, ranges from 20 to 30 minutes. So you can watch it in one go or in several sittings if you want. And you will also need the study resources here. Okay. So study resources, you have the study guide. Okay? So if you click on the study guide, you will see that it's this. Okay. You can do the study guide as you watch the recordings, or you can do it afterwards. Okay. It's a good idea to work on the study guide before you come on Thursday. Okay. So on Thursday, what we will do is, I'll show you, like we will basically fill this in together. It's filled in right now, but like, I'll delete this, and then we'll fill it in together. And then I will add extra comments, and then we'll do questions together, practice questions together. That way you will have the full set of answers to study from. Okay. But instead of just coming to Thursday with a blank thing to just copy everything I say, it's a good idea for you to work through it yourself first, and see if you understand it well. Okay. Let's go back to here. Oh, there's another question, Emma. Each recording should be downloaded. You don't have to download it. It's on YouTube. I upload it on YouTube, so you can just click on the link and watch it. Okay. These study guides, though, if you want to download it and print it, and I do recommend printing it, you can scroll down and there's a download button. Okay, and then it will go onto your computer. All right. Okay, so again, right, just to be clear, for this week, right, between now and Thursday, you should go download the PowerPoint, watch the recordings, and then go to study resources, and then attempt the study guide. Okay, that's what you have to do. I'll post all these things after class on the news item, and I'll have hyperlinks for you to click on, so it will take you directly to the page. Okay. Other study resources, you have video resource here. So I'll show you what that looks like. The video resources are just videos that I found over the internet that relates to what you're learning that particular week. Okay, so sometimes people like to hear things from a different perspective, right? So maybe you don't fully understand something that I'm explaining and you want to hear it from a different perspective. So rather than having you scour the internet for related footage or videos, I found it all for you guys. Okay, so you would, if you want to watch one of them, for example, you'll be learning about the Pasteur experiment. So if you want to watch more about it, you just click on it. And then it will take you directly to that page, and then you have to watch the commercial. But after the commercial, it will it's a video basically. Okay, and all these videos are just extra resources for you to I'm not sure why it's not loading. It's probably my internet, but you will be able to see it for sure. Okay, so it's a collection of these videos. You are not responsible for the content of these videos. I'm not going to ask you questions from these videos. They are just here for supporting your learning. Okay, so it's like optional things that you could access to. Okay, so each lecture has its own set of video resources, and it says here, they're not going to be covered on any assessment. There is a crossword here that you can do. In biology, there are a lot of new terms that you have to learn. So the crossword will help you, practice those terms. And then there is a self-quiz that you can do. The self-quiz is easier compared to the actual quiz that you will be taking. But nevertheless, it's a good starting point to test yourself to see where you're at. Okay, so next week you will go to lecture 2, and then you will see there are the recordings, and again you will have the study resources, study guide, video resource, so on and so forth. So each week, each folder has the same set of material related to that particular topic. Okay, and this will be true for the first 5 lessons that we are doing. All right. Now, the lab, as I said, by the time you do the first lab, Miriam would have taken over. But I would just give you a brief explanation of what the lab is like. So there are 2 labs in this course. The first one is called the beetroot experiment, and then the other one is microscopy. So for these experiments, you won't be able to do it, physically yourself, which is, one of the disadvantages of online course. But you will watch someone do the lab. Okay, and once you watch someone do the lab, you will fill in a lab report, basically. Okay, I'll click on the lab report to show you. Okay, so you read all these things, and then you will answer questions. Right? What is the purpose of this experiment? What is the hypothesis for this experiment? So you will download this document. You will answer all the questions, and then you will upload it onto the assignment folder. And that will be 10%. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. You just watch the video and then fill in the report. And that's the virtual lab. Let me see if there's anything else I've missed. I think that that's about all. That's everything I wanted to cover. Anybody have any questions about the course, about what you have to do this week, or anything at all? Okay. Oh, the textbook. Yeah, I forgot to mention about the textbook. So again, right, back to the lecture 1 to 5 folder right here. There's supplementary reading at the very end here. And, you know, if you click on it, it will take you to the online open source textbook. Okay. And again, this is just extra material. I think my PowerPoint slides are pretty self-explanatory and comprehensive. But you know, if you need extra information, you can just read it from this online textbook. Okay, things that are covered in the online textbook, but not the lecture notes, will not be on the evaluations. The only thing that will show on the quiz will be everything in my PowerPoint slide, as well as the study guide and whatever we cover in the tutorial. That's all you have to know. Okay. So yeah, that's it basically. And after class, you can find the tutorial recordings and the orientation recordings at the and the virtual tutorial link. So it's this button right here, the yellow button in the home page. You click on that, it will take you to this page here. And I will post a link here, right? So this is orientation. I had to upload this video afterwards, and you just click on it. Okay, and here's a Zoom link that we use, and here just to remind you that this link is only for May 9th to June 17th. When Miren takes over, he will give you probably a different link. Okay, so this page is for all the tutorial recordings. All right, and you can get to it by clicking on the yellow button. All right, so just to recap for this week, right, download the weekly schedule so you know when things are going to be happening. Watch the lecture 1 recording, attempt the study guide, and then we will meet again using this same link on Thursday at 8:30. All right. If you have any question, if you think of something else later on after we end this session, feel free to email me. Otherwise, welcome again to semester 1, and I will see you all on Thursday at 8:30. Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.